I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
C event Saturday afternoon here from the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major, presented by Curling Stadium Beaumont. My name is Shawn Joyce. I'm joined by Ed Scimia for this game this afternoon. We've got 4 qualifiers to the playoffs already determined, 2 through the A, 2 through the B. There's a few teams left to chase the last 4 spots here through the C event. This afternoon we'll be covering the game between Robyn Silvernagle and Claire Booth. Just underway here in the first end. As always in the preliminary round, these teams have a practice session before the game and then draw to the button to determine who's got last rock in the opening end. It looks like it was the Silvernagle team winning the draw to the button. They're throwing the yellow stones. The center guard was thrown just as we came to air, and now the come around attempt. And now you're all caught up.
Glad to be here with you, Shawn. Looks like this should be a good game. I believe these teams got to win this one and one more to qualify.
Yes, there's this. These are the semifinals, and then the 4 qualifiers will be tonight. And we've seen this through the first few events, draws of this event, is that the draw is not that tightly packed here in Beaumont, so they get access to their ice quick. And here we are. We're still 3 minutes before the scheduled game time, and they're already throwing rocks. So. You got to be quick. You got to be ready. These women they're raring to go.
Yeah, that's a welcome surprise at any event to be getting on the ice before the scheduled time and have a nice little break between your games, even if you end up in this sort of qualifying slog.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, where I'm coming from, I did the men's event last weekend. I don't know if you did any games in that event, Ed, but there were a few extra teams in the men's event. And then because it was an uneven draw, like they had 18, which is not an even draw, so there were some extra games, and then a few extra end games, and the draw was packed tighter, and so we had a couple of draws start late. Haven't had that here with the women. 15 teams started play on Thursday afternoon. As I said, we've got 4 through to the playoffs now, and 4 more yet to come. But just because you're going through the C event doesn't necessarily mean that the deck is stacked against you. Last weekend, a little different draw. They had 3 through the A, 3 through the B, and then 2 through the C. The 2 C event qualifiers ended up in the final. Sometimes at the start of the season, more games might be good for you.
Yeah, it never hurts to have that opportunity to get into form right during the weekend.
We get a bit of a mistake there. Rub the guard on the way by. So we've got rocks here in play in the first end. So looking for the come around. Actually been fortunate enough already this weekend. I've seen each of these teams once, so I've got an idea of how they've been playing.
What can you give us as far as a little insight on their styles of play, at least what we've seen this weekend?
Very good front-running team. They got caught a little bit yesterday in the game that I saw. That was the A qualifier, I believe, and they got down a little bit earlier, and they were struggling to find ways to get the points on the board when they were down. But she's got the last rock in the first end. That's where they want to be. I mean, she can get a lead. It's very hard to come back on her, and always has been.
Absolutely, we've seen that even at the well, I'm an American, so usually we see mostly seen her at the Scotties, seen her in a few slams over the years, and yeah, tough team to come back against. Very solid once they're defending a lead.
And for the Booth team, I only saw them once, and if I'd have to be fair and say that they probably didn't have their best game. Called a very good game, but their execution was off. And, this is their first event. I think it was only their second or third game. So they were struggling a little bit with the amount of curl and just to find make the adjustments on the draw weight. A few more games under their belt now. Expect a better effort from them here this afternoon. Nice hit and roll there. Gets the corner frozen on that yellow at the top of the 8-foot.
Yeah, interesting first end here. We've got Silvernagle still sitting one, but certainly a lot of potential in the end here for Booth, especially after that corner freeze. Still has the center guard.
Yeah, all the plays on the middle. It is Silvernagle with last rock, but drawing around the middle right now to sit 2. She does have shot, as you mentioned, at the top of the 8-foot. A lot of room by the guard, but you have to have a lot of room. Because you can make any shot, it helps. Like, the confidence is there. You know that the shots can be made, whereas if you're playing on straight ice, sometimes you have to be concerned that we just can't make that shot. Well, if you know the ice and the rocks, to be fair, if you know the rocks will give you the shots, you'll see these players take full advantage. I mean, these are good players. These are some of the best players in the world. If the rocks will give them the shots they want to play, they can make this entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
The rollout, another chance for the come around. I'd like to get this buried a little further and probably not as deep as that last one was.
Yeah, definitely don't want to give Booth another chance at that very little petite hit and roll. Eventually you keep leaving them out there, they're going to make one, and then it's going to be a tough end to score in if that's ever made.
Well, and if you slide it behind the tee line again and bury it, she'll play the freeze, and this is going to be deep as well. Comes down, chips off the redstone at the back of the 12-foot and rolls off it. I think it's, hard to tell for sure. As the screen
Almost
switched too quick.
matter.
It probably shouldn't matter. I don't see the 2 at the top leaving, so it's 3rd and 4th are sitting at the back of the 12 anyway.
Yeah. And as you said, that leaves now a lot of backing, not necessarily used for Booth here, but to just make it more difficult to get rid of a redstone that ends up back in there.
Yeah, initially it looked like she was going to make a play on the backstones, but she can't get shot rock if she's right to the back. I thought she might look at playing the short run. She could play the red onto the yellow, red onto yellow. Then it would matter who's got a 3rd at the back.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see that shot played by the time this end is over if things don't change significantly, because it is just there. It's maybe 3 feet between the 2 red rocks.
Wanted to take one chance for the draw, perhaps, to see if she couldn't set up a steal, and makes a nice draw right on the button, and maybe a sliver of it hanging out, but no more than that. Just got Robyn looking at playing the guard. You're almost too late for that if you're Robyn Silvernagle.
Yeah.
We're on third's last stone here. The angles on the stones at the top of the house aren't great for Robyn either. She tries to run this back. I mean, she might be able to make the triple, but she's probably leaving her shooter up for a center guard if she does that.
I
think she's got a
know
corner
that it
freeze.
gets you out of trouble. Yeah.
No, I think she's got to make the corner freeze. Jessie Hunkin with a draw on her first attempt, a little bit deep. We'll see now if she can make the adjustment. Needs the corner freeze on that shot stone on the button. Line looks nice at the hog line. It's going to be a question of the weight here. Still not really brushing it. Oh, that's a great shot.
That's beautiful. I don't think you can make it any better.
No.
And still accessible, which means Booth's going to have to do something to
I think she's
get off that little tap. Yeah,
she's probably got a guard, right? It by making such a good freeze, they flipped it, right? Silvernagle couldn't really afford to play that run on the last one. It wasn't going to help her, and now it's to the point where Booth can't really play it either because she's got to deal with that corner freeze in the house.
Yeah, you make the run, you're just asking to give up an easy deuce.
Where do you want this guard at?
Yeah, I don't know. I think you need to make sure you're shading a little to off the center line. You don't need to guard that yellow rock perfectly. You just can't leave room, and you don't want it super close because
that's what I'm thinking.
You can't leave a run. Yeah,
I thought they tapped very
outside the house.
I agree, but I thought they tapped fairly close to the house. If they're going to try to get close to the house, they probably have to overlap one of those.
In that case,
a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Either one, like either get under the top one or at least hook the corner on the one in the 12-foot, because you're right. It's a short run, and it's a risk-free run because she won't be able to see enough of the yellow to drive it across the face in any way that could hurt herself. She either makes it or crashes on something out front. That she can't hurt herself to play it. This is going to be in danger of drastically overcurling. I'm not sure she took anything away with that. She didn't.
No, not effectively. There's way too much curling. You can see all what you wanted to hit anyway.
Yeah.
The Yellowstone. Yeah. Yeah, lighter than they expected to, I think, based on, as you said, where they were pointing.
Yeah, just they seemed to tap the ice a lot closer to the rings. And I like where it ended up for depth. It just needed to be that much on the other side of the center line, and this might not be there, although she could maybe play it with a light draw and just try to move it a couple of inches, at least enough to sit one. Now she's got a chance to sit, 3. I think she can hit enough of that to hold her shooter on the edge of the 8-foot somewhere.
I'd have to imagine you don't have to throw very much weight at this at all.
No, and it looks like she can see probably 2/3 to 3/4. So.
Yeah, it is interesting that given how much late break there is, even if you move that red stone over by about a stone, I wonder if there would have been a play, but it certainly would have been much more difficult than what Robyn's left with here.
Yeah, exactly. This needs to curl. She's going to go right by everything. Maybe touched it on the way by.
Yeah, I think she did actually touch the yellow.
Looks like it redirected, but
do much of anything. Yeah.
No.
Release the red stone by about an inch. That's about it.
So another chance for Claire Booth with her final stone in this first end to just throw the guard, try to protect that short angle run, and she might be able to pick up steal here.
Will be an excellent position for a steal if she can put up an effective guard here. At this point, I would think high and wide is the way to go. Just, I don't know what Robyn really has if you cut it off and
she runs it in
fairly long.
Yeah.
Well, yes, she'll run it in.
She'll have to run it in.
She'll still try to, yes, but
yeah, she's got nothing else.
Yeah.
They look like they want to sweep for curl. I don't think they need to. It'll get there on its own. I'm not sure why they were sweeping that at the end. Did it chip off enough that she can make the run? It might have.
I think it's still overlapping by maybe an inch. It's hard to tell on our feed here, but
I don't see that she's got anything else. She'll have to throw quiet weight. She's got to get to the nose or slightly across the nose, and the way it finishes, she can.
Oh, yeah.
It's a delicate shot. I mean, she's made the shot tough, but I don't know why there was
For sure.
If she doesn't bounce, I don't think there is a shot.
Right, exactly, yeah. And now I think, as you said, you can get across the face probably, catch the outside of your yellow on the run, move the red. Great shot if you make it, but it is there. At least it looks that way from our view.
Final stone here for Robyn Silvernagle, first end. Facing one, looking for the run, red onto yellow. Can kill shot rock. For at least one, if she can spill both reds, it would be for two. This is going to have to curl, though. Off the side of the other red stone and by everything in the rings. It's a steal of one. Claire Booth takes the 1-0 lead here after the opening end of play. Silvernagle will keep blast rock into the second.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
What do you got? You got one, you got two, yeah!
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
Second end here, and I just want to correct one thing that I said earlier. I said there was going to be 4 qualifiers through the C. Of course, it's just 2. There were 15 teams that started here, so only 6 making it through to the playoff round tomorrow morning. We've already got 4 of those teams determined. 2 came through the A, 2 through the B. 4 games on the ice now. The winners of these 4 games will face off in the 2C event qualifier games scheduled for 7 o'clock tonight. Could mean a few teams played 3 games today. Of course, everybody wants to play 3 games on Sunday.
I see we're throwing back down to the dinosaur again. I was commenting last weekend with Mr. Dave Schmel, and we were really enjoying the anatomy of the dinosaur and where the rocks would go. Great house logo.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. We can talk about it now. I love the things that have been done with the logos and such in the houses in the last few days. I think it really helps with trying to get some younger viewers interested in curling. You can't just throw out the same old blue and red rings that their grandfathers used to play on. So there's some really artistic stuff that's been done with houses, and it's interesting how, you know, these logos that we see on the ice, and we don't have mics on the players here, but when you see them in events where they have mics and you can hear what they're saying, they use those logos as landmarks. They'll tell each other, you know, I want it on the B in the Boston Pizza. It's just become part of the lexicon, right?
Oh yeah, like I could certainly say I've done that before too.
Yeah.
We had a fun one at the mixed doubles event, the tour event down in Charlotte, North Carolina. They have one sheet that has members' cats and dogs photos.
Oh, okay.
Photos.
Yeah.
And there were times, you know, put it right on the dog, put it right.
Yeah. Well, it becomes an effective way to communicate too, because usually the logos are in the same place at both ends of the rink. When you're
Right.
shouting down 100 feet to tell them where they want it, now they've got a landmark.
So I don't know too much about this Booth team. I think it's the first time I've seen them play. Is there anything you can tell me about them?
Well, I only saw them the once earlier in this particular event,
Okay.
and they are an Alberta-based team. So, probably part of it, they're taking advantage of the fact that they get to play in a few events close to home at the start of the season.
Sure.
They certainly, from what I saw of them, they called a good game. They got down early, and they know what they're doing to try to get back into it. They struggled with execution in that particular game, and I mean that's going to happen third game of the season. As luck would have it, if I remember which game I was doing, they were playing one of the international teams that was already playing their sixth event. So you're really up against it when you're playing your third game and the other team's probably playing game number 25. You're just not going to be quite as sharp as your opposition. That's there's nothing you can do about that. But they were certainly making the right calls to try to get themselves back into the game.
Yeah, I wouldn't envy any new team that's just starting their season having to play. You have the especially the Japanese contingent that's going over for a bunch of these events, who are all very strong teams, among the best teams in the world, and have been playing for a while already this season.
Yeah.
So you're behind the eight ball playing those teams right now.
I have to go back to look to see who it was, but I do think it was one of the Japanese teams, because when I looked at the 6 events they play, it strikes me that their first 3 events were all in Japan before they came overseas, and then they played in 3. This is their third event in Canada. Well, you're 6 events in, you're 20, 25 games in, you're really in mid-season form. And you see that with a lot of teams that are trying to get ready for Grand Slams and such. That's one of the reasons they're playing in these events, is so that they don't go to an event like that and they're at start of the season, that they want to be mid-season when they get there. With the hit, Silvernagle shot rock now. 2 center guards up, a corner. Chance for, this would be on second stones here, so this would be Sydney Libas to try to hit and roll behind cover.
Yeah, we were talking earlier. Silvernagle did have a no-tick rule violation that kind of hurt their ability to set up for the end. Didn't get that draw underneath. Instead, moved the guard that got replaced. So maybe who gets under first at this point has a big advantage here in the end.
That one's going to roll too far, out of play.
And that'll open the door for Silvernagle to come under those guards. I can see where she's looking. It's not too bad if you're poking out to be. You probably want to be on the other side of the corner guard, unless you're going to go under the corner, but they're not.
Yeah, she's debating on which turn to come at, and part of this debate comes with how much curl there is. I know what she's thinking. What you were talking about, you'd like to, if you're going to leave a piece of it sticking out in the open, you want to leave it towards the corner guard. You can maybe get the play over there. With the amount of curl there is here, you're more likely to over curl the guard coming into the house than you are to under curl it. So it's tempting probably to go the other turn, but this is the more natural.
Yeah, especially with the movement coming so late, you wonder if that corner guard is, almost forcing you to over curl, because you're gonna have to come inside of the corner guard, and then there's gonna be a lot of break after that. And actually, that's kind of what we're seeing here. Yeah, and also went a few inches deep.
Slides just back of the tee line, and it is probably half exposed. Thinking about the freeze.
Great if you make it a little aggressive, but they were able to steal in the first time. Maybe they're feeling like they want to take advantage while they're getting these good setups here early in the game.
Yeah, you're right. It's aggressive, but it's there to be made. And
yes, this is aggressive in the range of reasonable shots, for sure.
Yeah, they probably have a good feel for it. This is one of those shots, because so much of the pre-game practice is geared towards that draw to the button. Even at the start of the game, they've usually got a pretty good feel for the line they need for a draw like this. She can actually afford to be just a bit to the inside of it, too. Chisel off, get in behind cover, and she'd still be in front of the tee line. Of course, I say that, and it's still on the outside. Now curling. Well, it'll bury, but it stays top 8 foot.
Yeah, interesting placement. Definitely didn't get where they wanted to, but it's going to be a tough rock to remove. Could be useful later in the end if you can get to it on the other side. Although, as we saw how much they break, well, it might help actually if you have to use a little weight. Yeah.
Kind of eliminates the corner guard too. I don't think you could come around the corner and be shot rock now.
No, I don't think so. I think that red rock not going anywhere for a while. So yeah, the play is going to be around the center again here in the second end.
Jessie Hunkin looking to come down. She'd like to sit on top of her own. She was a little warm on a draw on the first end, a little warm here as well. She'll chip it in behind cover. Shooter rolls back 8 foot, nibble of the 12. Shotstone is buried now, but a little farther behind the tee line.
And I think we're definitely going to see the freeze here now attempted. Or just getting in front of it. It's a little deep. Be free. Freeze is good too.
Yeah.
Worst case, if the freeze is a little deep, you've cut the scoring area to nothing anyway. So.
Jamie Scott gets a second attempt at the freeze here. A little short on the first one, but she did bury it nicely. Doesn't need to adjust much here. This is a lot more line. Trying to help it over. Comes down to the face of that stone, moves it back a few inches. So it is the red stone belonging to Claire Booth. It's just thrown that is shot rock, and I think the yellow at the back of the 4 foot. And I apologize, my picture's a little unclear, but I think the yellow is still second shot.
Yeah, tough to say. That'd be my guess too. Also, the one time where the lovely house graphics make it a little difficult right in that spot to say for sure.
Without giving away too many broadcast secrets, I'll tell you, the feed that we're calling off of is a little blurry compared to the YouTube feed, which is crystal clear, but that's all in the interest of getting it to us quickly. When you do remote, you don't get full resolution or it just slows everything down. So a second opportunity now for Jessie Hunkin. She'd like to get to the face. Move it if she can, but it's more important to get at least to the nose, maybe even a sliver to the inside if she could. Line's going to be nice. Actually almost over curl. She just touches the red stone and ends up a little bit farther in behind cover, but not really locked on it now.
Yeah, and almost in more danger of actually touching the red one on the top 4 than being too exposed. Not a bad placement, just as you said, not locked on, and with this much curl and this much late curl, they can make a play on that for sure.
Yeah, if Claire Booth can come down, sit on the corner of it, move it about 2 inches, she's probably sitting 2, and you'd need dynamite to get this rock out.
Mm-hmm.
Even if she just sits on the corner and isn't shot rock, we're back to the same situation, kind of a little bit reversed from last end, where shot rock is sitting at the back half of the button, and there's really no way for Robyn Silvernagle to get a second one in, and she might actually have to protect against giving up a steal.
Yeah.
Inside brusher was down early, just cleaning both of them on it a little bit now. It's usually an indication they know they've got to go for weight. Waiting on the line, and that's coming. Well, this has got a nice line coming by the front. Can they get by the stone at the top of the 8 foot? No.
Just a little rub there, yeah.
Well, then, does that give Robyn the opportunity to make the double on the reds?
That's what I was looking at. I think they should both go. You might be worried about rubbing that yellow in the back, but that's right now. He'd be sitting 2 anyway, and in a much nicer deuce with a good chance for potentially even getting a 3. If you can get a second one in under that red on the top 8, and make the 2 reds in the forefoot go away. Yeah.
Be tough to make the double and not touch your own stone at the back of the 8-foot. I'm trying to peek now to see if she could make the double. Who's got what would be third shot then? The red at the top of the 8-foot, the yellow at the back. I'm not sure, but I think it's hard to make the double without touching that yellow at the back of the 8-foot.
That's what I was thinking too. I think you're most likely to sit 2. It may be makeable. You may be able to sit 3 here, but I think 2 is much more likely. And potentially, maybe that's all there is.
Has to get to the nose here, if not inside. Sweeping to make it curl. This is still on the outside a bit. She'll just stick the red onto red. It does clear the back one.
Certainly gives Booth something to think about here now that you have a very lonely red rock there on the side of the button.
Yeah, I think she's got a guard. I've not seen anything else. Unless she can come around on the outturn side, tap the red into the pocket. Tap that red into the pocket. That's a risky shot. She can see a piece of it.
Okay. Yeah, it does look like it is poking out there. You could consider that, like you said, pretty risky. A shot you pretty much have to make or you're in a world of trouble. But it looks like they're going to go for the guard. They're going to play it a little safer here and see if they can force.
Wait to see which one Robyn runs back.
Yeah, exactly.
Tries to run back.
Right.
Slightly different angles in the house, but very similar setup for Claire Booth here in the second end. Just trying to protect a group of rocks in the 4-foot area, knowing that Robyn Silvernagle's probably going to run back your guard. She tried to leave that one very high and left it a little too high. Comes up well short of the hog line.
They certainly know what the shot is here, just working on the specifics, we'll say.
Yeah.
Where exactly do you want to hit and where do you want to leave your yellow rocks here?
Well, this is last stone, so all she's got to worry about is stick the run. They're probably looking, is there any way she can roll the shooter, and I don't think there is.
Yeah, I don't think you can. If there were no guards there, you can probably remove both reds, but I don't know that you can get enough to the inside of your yellow.
Doesn't look like
with
it,
any weight. Yeah.
And if you hit it right on the nose, your shooter's not going to be far enough in to be third. So
right.
This is, if she can make the little tap, it's 2 for sure, and then it actually might matter who's got third between the front of the 8 and the back of the 8. I think it's the red stone, but it's like you said with that dinosaur graphic, it's a little hard to tell. Looking to tap the yellow onto the red. She'll move the red just to the back of the 4-foot. It's enough to get her 2. We won't get to find out whether they had to measure those other 2 stones.
Yeah, they made it easy for us there.
Put 2 points on the board for Robyn Silvernagle. She takes the lead now. It's 2-1. Phillips, or pardon me. Our scoreboard doesn't match. Yeah, Booth will have last rock in this third end.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, just to issue another correction as we get started here in the third end, we did have the names mixed up as to who we had on the draw, and it was mixed up on the draw, so we had the wrong team here. Silvernagle is right, and of course I know Robyn well enough that I recognized her. I had seen the Booth team once before, but I'll be honest with you, I've seen a number of teams this weekend, and I didn't recognize that this is actually the Phillips team that we have here. So it is Phillips and Robyn Silvernagle playing here in this C semifinal.
And that's Hannah Phillips, also out of Alberta, I believe.
I'm just pulling the information up now. Yes, they're registered out of Edmonton. And I'll just say the lead for the Phillips team would probably be just as happy if we still were using the Booth lead's name for that last shot. And I won't name anybody for that one. We'll start after that shot.
Absolutely. Fair enough.
Christy Moore is the lead for Robyn Silvernagle with the guard on her first one. Now, come around attempt. And Christy's been around the curling scene for a lot of years. She skipped some on her own. She played third for a year in Saskatchewan. And I have one of what I think is one of the all-time funniest stories. Now, funnier when you see it than it was to probably tell the story. And she's heard me tell the story before, and the girls on the team are all very good about it. They all laugh about it. They all give me a hard time that I shouldn't keep telling the story, but how can you not? So they're playing in the Tankard here, or pardon me, the Scotties here in Saskatchewan, and playing against Stephanie Lawton, and it was it might have been a B event game, C event game. I'm not sure. I don't think it was elimination anyway, so B event probably, or could even have been round robin. And they were down a bit, and they were taking some chances, and Cindy Ricci was skipping the team. Christy was playing third. And Cindy throws a shot. And we weren't really sure what she was playing as we're watching and announcing it. There was quite a cluster of rocks in the middle, and she comes down and taps one rock and sits kind of corner frozen to one. And I talked to Cindy about it after the game. And she said, yeah, we thought this is a tough crowd because I thought I made a pretty good shot and we couldn't even get a golf clap for it. The whole team had forgotten it was last rock, and she played a setup shot. Oh. Yeah. Made the shot she was playing.
Right.
Stephanie's team, they're just sitting there, one yellow.
Yeah.
And all they could do was, sheepishly grin about it afterwards because they're high-fiving and then thinking, boy, this is a tough crowd. That was a pretty good shot. We couldn't even get a golf clap. And then they realized, that was the last shot. Nobody on the team realized they were throwing the last rock.
Is this a situation at like
this was the provincials?
You might have, yeah. Well, it's provincials, but I'm saying like, is this where you might have just glanced at a rock on the next sheet and thought it was another one in there waiting to throw? Nobody noticed.
I'm not giving them any extra excuses. It's been a funny story for what year would that have been? Like 9 years now. It's just, and if Christy knew that I was calling their game, she would know that sooner or later that story's coming out because I tell it every time I see any of them on the ice. And like I said, they're very good natured about it. They laugh about it too. It's just, and how could you not, right?
right after something like that happens.
It's one of those things you'll hear the comment made every once in a while that if you stick around the curling rink long enough, you'll see something that you've never seen before. Well, that was the thing, right? Nobody you played a setup shot with Last Rock. Their bad luck that it happened to be the feature game, so we were watching it. It was on camera. We're talking about it. That never happens in a club game on a Thursday night when there's nobody there to see it.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure I've seen it happen, where we've all seen it happen where a player throws an extra rock with one too few in the middle of an end. But, to not know it's Last Rock is funny. That is rare.
Makes the hit on the shot stone, but rolls the shooter out of play. Would have liked to stay somewhere in the rings. I have to say, I'm a little surprised that Robyn's looking to come around that. I guess we're still only on third stone. She might be still thinking of some kind of possibility of a steal. It's going to be tight. It's a double, right? I'd be tempted to start thinking about a force already.
Yeah, I think the only reason you even think about this at all is because that Phillips rock rolled out. You're not looking at any danger, but of course you're putting the force back in play if you group these rocks for sure.
Yeah, she's going to have a chance for the double.
Force, the blank.
The blank. She's going to have a chance for the double here. She's going to have a chance for the double, assuming this stops.
Yeah, it was a little quick coming into the house, but slowed down nicely. At least kept it in play.
Jessie Hunkin has had a few struggles with her weight here so far in this game. Don't want to make excuses for the players, but it's something they all have to be conscious of. She's thrown, and if I remember right, and she's throwing them in the same order every end, she's thrown draws with her first stone 3 ends in a row, and she's been heavy on every one of them, and not as much with the second one. So at least to me, it would put the question into your mind, are these two stones running exactly the same?
Mm-hmm. And even if it's in your mind and it's not in reality, it may be worth switching something up just to not worry about it. We see that sometimes too.
Sometimes. Get to make a pass at the double, but this is out there a bit. She's going to make contact with the first one. Just by the second one.
Ooh.
Does hang her shooter on for a bite of the 12. That's important. Hard for Robyn Silvernagle to ignore a biter without Last Rock.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about last shot too. Just keeping something on the rings makes it's going to make Robyn have to deal with it. No reason that she would ever risk getting up 2 here. So. Keeps yellow from having any ambition in the end if you can keep your rocks on the rings.
Hard for her to roll to a spot where she's not going to leave another chance at the double too.
Mm-hmm.
We'll roll full 12-foot, maybe a nibble of the 8. Those hits should get them both though. I think I saw the indication for the hit and roll, so maybe looking to go across the top on the back one.
Sure, I suppose you make it that way. You roll to the corner, and you at least give them a different look at the hit instead of having all the play right down the middle. Try to get a miss. Try to bring the play out of the center if you can.
Sweeping for curl, though. This is a long ways out. She'll make contact, but again, rolls the shooter out of play. So at this point in time, I'm sure she's thinking about getting the force. Here's the problem. It's hard to put the rock even because it's far enough back that if you try to draw to the corner even, you're risking being out the back of the rings. So where do you leave this to make a double difficult?
Yeah, you're looking for that sort of 45-degree angle. It looks like they're really looking at just putting one in front of it and conceding the fact that a double might be made here.
I'd have been tempted to try to put it here. We're going to use the logos too. Frequency hearing logo. If you could put it right on the EQ in frequency.
Yeah, that looks about ideal.
Probably as awkward as the angle can be. She'd probably have to play it as a slash.
Right.
Or on the other side of the 8-foot, you could put it either. That rock is splitting center. It really doesn't matter. Looks like that's what she's doing now.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like they changed that once she got down to the house. Down to the hack, I should say.
That might have been partly to do with the discussion at the front end. This is a new team this year, but Christy Moore, as I was mentioning, a lot of experience. Jesse Hoyen as well. Really, they've got 4 players on this team that would be capable of skipping if they needed to. Comes to rest, just biting the 12-foot. The stone at the back is still shot rock, but Silvernagle sitting 2. And really, to make the double, she's probably got to play it as a slash.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to... I like getting it out that wide if you're going to throw it over there, because you don't want to leave a spot where they can just barely hang on and maybe are using your rock as a guard. I mean, not that it's that dangerous, but it puts some danger in the end for you. And in this case, they'd have to roll out to make this.
Yeah, if she just hits and rolls behind, she's not making the double.
Right.
There are probably some teams that would probably try that, just play the hit and roll behind and hope she leaves you double for the last one. But it looked to me like they were looking at the double the whole way here.
Sure.
Hannah Phillips, being called by the right name for the first time in this game. Looking for the slash. I think she's over curling the slash. Gonna be on the wrong side of it. Can she roll in front of it?
Yeah, that's probably the second best shot if you can get it there, and they didn't really get enough.
Yeah.
I mean, you were not intending to. It's kind of hard to audible into that, but they gave it a try.
They actually needed to get off the brush, let it curl a little bit more, but it's scary to get off the brush. She didn't throw a ton of weight at that. That might have been the call all the way. That didn't look like enough weight to play the slash.
True. Yeah, you might be right about that. In that case, you're right. They would have had to let it curl a little more.
Yeah. Well, for Robyn Silvernagle, a nose hit now is pretty good. That's what she's going to get. Phillips could probably hit it on the nose again and be shot rock, or do you take the draw? You certainly don't want to hit it anywhere on the outside, unless you make the double.
Draw is very makeable. You could, I'm wondering if they're, because I was going to say you could look at the double. I wouldn't be surprised if they just were, and I'd be tempted to just bite the bullet and take my 1 here and, maybe play something soft to the inside,
if
center
you're playing
side of that top yellow rock.
Yeah. If you make the double, I don't think it's on purpose. I think they tried to hit it on the nose and hit it a little on the outside and get the double. Because if you're on the outside of it and you don't catch the one at the back, I'm not sure your shooter would be shot rock.
No, I think if you tried to play the double and you're just that, inch wide and don't make it, and you're
This is not a lot of ice.
I'm wondering if she's throwing a lot of weight and playing.
Yeah, I think she's going after the double,
Yeah.
probably over the top then, and trying to get the blank. Because it's hard to throw with this kind of weight, make the double and stay.
Right.
Little extension at the end, a lot of rotation. It's going to be close. Catches the backstone, and she will spill them both. Rolls the shooter out of play. Blank end here in the third. Hannah Phillips, trailing by 1, will have last rock again in the fourth.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Fourth end just underway. First stone came to the back of the forefoot. Back 8, I guess. And now the corner guard being called for. Sasha Tran is the lead for the Phillips team. May as well identify these girls since we haven't had their names out there yet. Anna Monroe plays second. The third is Kate Goodhelpson. And the skip, Hannah Phillips. They have last rock as we begin play here in the fourth. Corner guard is up now.
Yeah, very nice corner guard. Much better time to introduce the lead. Yeah.
Christy Moore a little deep on her first attempt, but they'll be looking to come in again. Jessie Hoyen sweeping on the left is the second. Jessie Hunkin, the third. The Christies, or the Jessies, as I called them yesterday whenever Christy was throwing. Robyn Silvernagle, the skip. Long-time skip out of Saskatchewan. When she played with Jessie Hunkin before, Jessie was the import on the Saskatchewan roster. Now they're registered out of Alberta, and Robyn is the import.
Is this their first event of the season also?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay.
Let me check that, actually. They might have played in the Saville as well. I just don't think I did any of their games there. Looking to come around the corner guard now. Threw it up on her first one, comes around with her second. Nice end for Sasha Tran. She'll just turn around and say, well, this game's easy. I don't know what you other three are complaining about.
Well, definitely a much better setup for Phillips to pursue her deuce this end. Although she really, I mean, I was sure they Silvernagle had done enough to force them. And Phillips made a great shot to finish off the third with that little slash double.
Jessie Hoyen being asked to come in, and this is a situation where if they'd had either one of those two yells, preferably both of them, somewhere in the top forefoot, you might throw a guard here. Well, you're not guarding the two stones they have in the house, so bringing another one in, and again, they're behind the tee line, back four. Really set up here in this fourth end favors the Phillips team for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, on the 5 rock rule, the preferred defense has been get those 2 up in the, at least 1, probably 2 up in the front of the house, and then you have nothing better to do on your 5th rock. You guard them and make the hammer team really work out of a tough center to deal with. But yeah, as you said, with those first 2 rocks, neither one ideally placed. They really had to come in again. Still nothing with that where they really want it. Although the one in the top 12 is nice, and that might be why Phillips is thinking of getting rid of that one first and dealing with the rocks behind the tee line later.
Well, yeah, there's a double of the 2 stones behind the tee line, but that's always going to be there. I mean,
right.
It's the stone at the top of the house, the one that hurts you. You could actually try to get all 3 of them. I mean, the triple's not the first thing on your mind. If you're playing that, you're playing the hit and roll into the house, onto the open side, and if it happens to catch the yellow at the back, you could move all 3 of them. Did have a chance to look it up while we were waiting on them to make that call, and yes, Robyn Silvernagle did play at the Saville Shootout a couple weeks ago in Edmonton, so it is their 2nd event.
Oh, okay.
Failed to qualify at the Saville Center, so not maybe the result they wanted there, but did give them 5 games. Well, that's probably not the way they intended to move 3 stones, but they did touch all 3 of them.
Yeah. Removed all 3, but left the center guard, unfortunately. Not that it's in a terrible spot being that close to the house this early in the end, but
yeah,
you didn't want to leave it there.
Not ideally, but the way some of these teams, well, at least I would think not ideally, but the way some of these teams play the short runbacks and with the precision they play them, maybe they're fine with that rock being right there.
Yeah, it's I've said that too, even all the way down playing, league night games or anything. I say, like, if you're gonna leave a guard up in the center with hammer, if it's slightly off center and inches out of the house, it's not hurting it that much. You can definitely use that rock, especially if the non-hammer team hasn't set anything up dangerous yet. You have a rock that's useful there for sure.
Going to over curl ever so slightly, touch that red stone. Not able to spill off, so the shot stone at the back of the 4-foot is still exposed. Maybe not quite entirely, but a good 3/4, 7/8. Hannah Phillips won't be looking to roll underneath either, so she's got enough to hit and roll away.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. If you can make that roll to the corner, and you're at least threatening to score a big end here.
Anna Monroe with the hit attempt. Kate Goodhelpson trying to good help this rock. Not going to get it by, though. Crashes the guard. Does touch the run red into the rings. Will it stop? Does. She gets a biter at the back of the 12-foot out of it. Also moved her 2nd shot stone behind the tee line. Continues to be Silvernagle sitting 1. Just the 1 center guard now. A little offline to the shot rock.
Okay, as far as bad outcomes go, that's not the worst. You did put the 2nd rock on, and
yeah,
you're gonna have to work out the center, but there is going to be risk for Silvernagle likely throughout the entire end now. Those rocks sitting around the corners.
And by the same token, it's still a better situation for Silvernagle too, because that red potential run back is gone. It's just a yellow stone out there now. This is a long ways out. They'll move a lot, but she's got to bury a chunk of this rock.
So they get a bit big too.
And once again, with her first draw of the end, first stone of the end, Jessie Hunkin a little heavy on a draw.
Yeah, you're right. When it happens,
that's every end, right?
You notice the pattern. It really does make you wonder, right, about the rocks. You're absolutely right.
Looks like she can still see probably half of shot rock, so the double's available. All the red stones would be behind the tee line, but she would be sitting 3. This time, Kate Good helps in, looking for the hit. Looks like she's got a nice line by the guard. Catches one, catches two. Shooter sits right there. It's Hannah Phillips sitting 3, all in the back of the house.
Yeah, again, not ideal, not what you're looking for with Hammer, but the thing is, it's now you're making that margin of error for the Silvernagle team very small the rest of this end, because they can get in trouble real quick here.
And even if she did roll one buried, it's with the amount of curl on this ice,
yeah,
and the separation between the guard and the rock that would be behind it, there might be enough room to pass it through. Talked about both rolls. I think they opted to try to roll behind their own center guard. Line's close. Starting to curl, though. You're going to have to go to hold this. Just a little late on the call for the brush there. Rolls away. My first thought was kind of the same as her first thought. This is your chance to get a rock in front of the tee line behind cover. They did. I think they're also discussing, do we get rid of this center guard? I
was wondering if you could potentially do both with one shot. I mean, maybe not get one buried, but could you play a soft wick on yellow and
yeah, you could.
Even if you leave a corner guard instead of a center guard, your position is really strong.
I'd be afraid of jamming that yellow on the red at the back of the corner, and then that takes away your extra
possible
point. I don't love coming around the yellow.
No, me either.
If you're coming around the corner, I think. If
certainly a much simpler shot than doing anything with the yellow rock because of those jam possibilities.
Yeah, and I get that they're worried about, well, what happens if Robyn goes around the middle? Well, if you're sitting 3 and she wants to risk going around the middle,
yeah, so
I think
with a 1-point lead this early in the game, I think
you let her, yeah. But if you try to tuck one around the yellow, you just make it easier for her to go around.
Right. You
even if she's sitting on top
of you, and she has the little run if she needs it.
Yeah. So you're trying to get the play. If you get something on the corner here, I don't think she's ever thinking about that come around. Now she might be able to hit and roll in there, but if you bury this, that's not possible either. We know it'll go.
Expecting a lot of curl on this one.
It will. It will. I love this camera angle when you see how much curl there is here, because you look at where it crosses the hog line. It's still touching the center line. And at the tee line, it's going to be edge of the 8-foot. If she's all the way to the tee, it's probably completely outside the edge of the 8-foot.
Yeah. No, that was. She put her broom down at the edge of the 4-foot. Maybe it's about 6 feet of curl. Yeah.
So Robyn Silvernagle, not really much choice now. She's going to have to chase that around the corner guard. Never comfortable when you don't have last rock chasing your opposition around the corner in the front of the house. She's got to stay on the corner to be shot rock. Actually, in this case, she'd probably be okay with just getting right to the face of it and at least eliminate those other 2 reds. Because always scary when you have to sit on the inside corner. If you bounce any at all, it could be a hit to sit 4.
Yeah, this is a sign that things did not go your way in the end for sure, but you can get out of trouble here if you make it good. At least get out of the worst of the trouble if you make it good.
Line looks similar to the last stone. They're actually sweeping it to make it curl, though she's a little strong. And that's the problem. You just chip off that stone, and Now there's the chance to hit and sit 4. Well, they're talking about it. Where do you want to roll?
Yeah, that's what I was silently thinking about. Because that is a little tricky. I mean, ideally, you'd almost want you to take a long roll, which they're looking at, but the problem is that it may jam. It probably will jam unless you throw a lot of weight. And you know, did it at less of an angle, but got a lot of roll because of the weight.
I don't think you want a short roll. I mean, if you only roll a
No,
rock,
you don't.
there's a double there, and if she makes it off the back end of the second one, she could actually roll kind of corner frozen to the back one, and your end could be gone.
Yeah, I mean,
is a nose hit
you
bad?
pop it on the nose.
I mean, she'd have a double, but it's an angle double, so she's going to have to sit in the open, right? Unless she can get all the way behind the center.
Good chance you're playing for 3 if she makes that double. So.
Yeah.
Unfortunate you can't roll, you know, to the right here on our screen. That's just does not work.
I mean, there's just a hair of room there. I mean, she could come to the yellow and touch the red and push it over a little bit, but
sure,
she's still going to leave slash double on one or the other for sure. Yeah. Looks like they opted for the nose hit. That's what she does. For Robyn Silvernagle to play the double, she'd have to lose the shooter. It's a slash double. So she's going to look to hit just off the nose, across the face, and try to roll onto the corner freeze that she was trying to get with the draw last time. A very precise shot if she's going to try to get shot rock out of it, even if she rolls a few inches too far and sits second and takes away those other 2 biters. I think she'd have to be happy with that on this one.
Yeah, I think so. I think you just are looking to avoid at this point 4.
Final stone for
2, you're real happy. Yeah, sorry.
Final stone for Robyn Silvernagle here in the 4th without last rock and facing 4 as she throws. Plan B, can they get the slash? No, it's right on the nose. Shooter is in the open. It is shot rock. But Hannah Phillips will just need to make a nose hit here. Pass it by her own 2 stones. She's got the biter on the other side. This could be for 4. Chance to take a 3-point lead as she tries to move into the C qualifying game. 7 o'clock tonight. This would be a huge boost for this team going into the break.
Yeah, huge turning point here. Make the nose hit, and you're feeling great about your chances in the second half. Especially get a couple minutes to talk about it too.
Yeah, it's amazing how much of a difference it makes when you're playing in one of these events where you get the break at the end of, in this case, 4 because it's an 8-end game, or 5 when you're playing in playdowns. Scoring a big end going into the break is such a huge momentum swing.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah Phillips made the hit on her first. It's a very similar shot here. Brushers on this one early. She'll make the nose hit, stays right there. Put 4 points on the board for Hannah Phillips. She's got a 5-2 lead now after 4 ends of play. It'll be Robyn Silvernagle with last rock after the break.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Band has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
5-2 after 4 ends of play here in this C semifinal. C semifinal action across all 4 sheets. And winners will go on to play the qualifying game tonight. 5-2 at the break. Hannah Phillips with the lead. Robyn Silvernagle with last rock when we come back.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Just about set to resume play here in the 5th end. Teams do have the option at the end of the 4th to take a break. There are a number of the teams that have coaches here. Not everybody has brought a coach with them. But nice to have that chance to chat and decide how you want to play the last 4 ends. When they get into playdowns, they'll get the opportunity to do that as well. We're still playing 10-end games and playdowns. So it's a 5th end break.
Yeah, even in the States where I've played in the this was in the news the last week, of course, because the event I've played in the playdowns, the club nationals, that sort of thing. Still play 10 ends there too. Nothing new comes around with 10 end games anymore, but still have the 5th end break at the like sort of legacy playdowns that have been going on for forever.
Yeah, I saw there was the Inside Curling podcast, I think, was talking about they had just had the latest update on the rule issues that were being discussed, and 8 and 10 ends didn't even come up apparently this year. Which it's at least been discussed for a few years. Doesn't sound like it's on the radar right now.
I suppose if you hear the same arguments every year, you can take a break for a year or two and come back to it, rather than debating it every year.
I had an opportunity to actually sit in on it was a World Curling Federation conference, and they were talking about the broadcasting end of curling.
Sure.
And I wasn't participating. I was just listening to what they had to say, and it's interesting to hear, because that's the 10 end issue becomes it's being driven from that side, and it's because of all the international teams that are out there and how they try to sell the broadcast rights to all of those, where it's sold in blocks of time, not necessarily specifically games. So that extra half hour, it's a valuable block of time when they're selling broadcast rights to all of these different countries, which I thought was very interesting. It's not just North America that's interested in watching anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's particularly in I have to imagine Europe and a few Asian countries. Their teams are regularly playing in these events, and I'm sure there's a pretty good audience for it. Yeah,
we get outstanding numbers here, from what Jerry tells me, from certainly the Japanese teams. I don't know about the Koreans and the Chinese, although it wouldn't surprise me, because they do send a good contingent over. And the Koreans, at least, I think Kim she's medaled. I'm not entirely sure that she hasn't won a gold medal somewhere along the line. Good teams, and they're well known back home, so they'll follow them. It's a different issue with every country, though, right? Like, your viewership numbers, when the World Conference, the World Body is trying to sell viewership rights, they've got however many at a Worlds, they've got 12 or 14 countries that they're dealing with broadcast rights for, and it's the needs are different for every one of them because of the viewership numbers. So it's an interesting challenge that they've got to figure out. I'm kind of thankful it's not my problem.
Yeah, exactly the same. You know, it's it makes so again that argument for 8 ends makes a lot of sense from the broadcaster's perspective. There is a special feel to a 10-end game, but we've reduced the number of ends in curling so many times over the last 100 years that, you know, I think it's not the end of the world if eventually we do everything at 8. You know?
I'm ready to go to 6. To be honest, if I have to play 6 is lots.
There is a year-end, very casual barn spiel out here in the northeast, the Plainfield Curling Club. I'll give them a little shout out here on the air in New Jersey. That's 32 teams on a two-sheet club in 4 days because it's all 6-end games, and it's wonderful. I have to say the 6-end games are really very, very easy to play.
Well, a fairly predictable start here to this 5th end with Silvernagle trailing by 3. We saw Phillips throw the first 2 into the top of the house. The 2 corner guards go up, same side, one long, one tight. And this is kind of this is what I talked about last end with Silvernagle didn't get the 2 in the middle in a good enough spot to guard them. I think the call here is for the guard. This is way out there. Chips off the corner. That's a sneaky way to get a center guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little higher than they probably would have liked it. And doesn't really protect either of those 2 stones in the 8-foot.
No. To finish the discussion on ends in a game, if anyone ever wants to know how long games used to be, just go back to the first time it was in the Olympics. I believe they played 22 end games back in 1924, 28. And no one shook, which is why you have scores like 44-5.
Yeah. Well, they probably still didn't take that long. That would have been on,
True.
11-second ice, and nobody threw guards. It was hit everything.
Right.
Makes the tap on the red stone and rolls her shooter all the way across to the back of the 12-foot behind cover.
Very nice roll there.
Yeah. The red at the top of the 4-foot still shot rock. Thinking about
just like we saw in the last end. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, thinking about making the play on the tighter guard and try to roll into the rings. The thing is, even if she makes this play on the corner, that stone at the back is still going to be a little bit undercover. It's not a bad setup here early in this end for Robyn Silvernagle. You'd like to see Silvernagle would like to see a chance for at least 2 here if she could.
Absolutely, and it's a bit of a reminder. I mean, last time we saw the same thing. No, that rock doesn't look that great yet because it's sitting way back in the 12-foot. You got a counter, but again, it's a persistent danger for the team without Hammer, and we saw that come to roost last time. Could very well happen here as well. Although that was a very nice shot. They got a very nice roll there.
Yeah. Robyn thinking about the run on the center guard. This is one where you have to be careful. You can't lose your shooter. So Jesse Hoyen looking to run the red back, try to catch at least the one at the top of the 12-foot. Will catch it.
Moves everything out of the rings. Wonderful shot. You do leave the center guard, but great throw.
She's guard now, though, and the one stone that's left in the rings. What would you say, a quarter behind cover? Lots of room to get there. You see that hand gesture with the hands apart. She's thinking even if we hit it, we're probably better off to roll out. I don't think you want to stay back there. I would agree with her on that.
Yeah, that rock's never doing anything for you and only potentially benefiting the team trying to score here, which is...
Doesn't even matter. Even if you roll somewhere else, you're going to be far enough back. Robyn's got to try to score this in. She's not interested in getting back to a blank.
Exactly.
After giving up 4 going into the break, you'd love to answer back with 2 here for a couple of reasons. You want to get the 2 points, but it's also an 8-end game, so you don't have a ton of ends to get back into it, and you'd like to get that momentum back. That 4 going into the break, we talked about it before the break. It's always such a huge momentum swing when you score that big end, and then for both sides, the team that just scored it gets to talk about it for 5 minutes and get excited. The team that gave it up has to brood about it for 5 minutes. And
you don't get the chance to just go out and throw.
Yeah. Chance to come around the corner now. Hunkin has had some issues with her draw weight so far in this game. Let's see if she can make a nice one here. She's got plenty of room coming by. And they're sweeping for curl a little bit. Can't sweep a lot because, again, it's behind the tee line on its own.
Did hang on, though.
Yep. Still left a piece of it open, though.
Yeah, maybe just a little more buried than the last one, but not completely behind that corner.
Kate Goodhelpson with a chance to hit and try to roll out. Well, I try not to make a pun out of her last name every shot she throws. It's tempting, though.
There's my cat commenting on the shot made.
Another chance for Jessie to make the come around. That looks like they tightened the ice up just a little bit as well. Brusher's just cleaning it. Plenty of room coming by, and the offside sweep in an attempt to make it curl farther. Both brushers down, though, so the weight's got to be better. Trying to bring it back far enough to bury it.
And that one definitely is a bit more under the guard there, I think.
Well, and it's higher, too, so showing that same piece even up higher, there's less room for it to curl after it passes the guard.
Right.
It's probably there. It's not going to look good from the hacks, but what else do you throw? Like, that rock's in a better spot. It goes back to what Robyn did last time. She tried to chase a rock around the corner. That stone is high enough in front of the tee line that it's really hard to do that anyway. You'd have to be so far in the corner to get shot rock. I can't see ignoring it coming around the center, because if you leave her a chance to hit and roll under cover, now 3's on the board, and that's what they're going to look at. I don't love this call. Like,
no,
if you go after it and you peel the guard, it's never worse than 2. This is how you bring 3 into play.
Exactly, and especially with that 3-point lead, as you said, coming out of the break, wanting to keep momentum. You don't want to give a big end back. This is more aggressive than I'd be comfortable playing as well. And again, even the center guard is a yellow rock. Yeah. So, like, even if you make it perfectly, even if you get to the last rock of the end and there's nothing else, there's always the run.
3's going to be in play no matter what.
Yeah.
Robyn Silvernagle's probably happy back there. She's sitting back there right now thinking, here, throw this quick before you change your mind.
Yep. Definitely been there before. Come on.
Yep. Oh, good. The front end didn't talk her out of it. This is awfully tight by the guard, too. If she does make the rings, it's going to be out in the open. I'm not sure she's getting there. Touches the guard. Well, that actually helped her out. Well, still sits well out into the open.
Yeah.
If she gets by the guard, it's wide open on the other side.
Yeah. It's not in a position where it's going to be too hard for Silvernagle to avoid grouping these either. You know, you might say, well, at least it's on the side where the other rock is, but in this case, I don't think that even matters terribly much.
She's probably got to roll behind the center guard. I don't think she can roll behind the corner without rolling into her own, but... fairly precise roll needed anyway. Give her half a rock, she'll go after it.
Right. Yeah, the better miss is rolling too far and being well away from the center guard.
Yeah, let her hit it, exchange your hits for your 2. Yeah, you nose hit this, she's got a double. Nothing out of the brushers so far. Oh, this is awfully close to a nose hit. Makes the hit. Stays pretty much right there. It's a thin double, but it is there. I don't see any reason not to go for it. If you nose hit it, she's still shot on the side.
Yeah, I think I got to go for it. You know, it's thin, but not ridiculously thin, where it's going to be you know, almost unmakeable or anything like that. Definitely something that can be made here and get you out of trouble. Probably you're gonna hit the second rock and be open enough that it probably leads to a blank, or at least a blank opportunity. But I think you're okay with just running down the clock at this point if you get the blank, give up a blank here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else they're looking at here. I guess one
they're looking at hitting and rolling behind the center guard. Which
I was looking at that, but I'm not sure with where. Look at where you're making contact with the first one. Would you be rolling in far enough to be shot rock?
Yeah,
and I'm not sure. You might.
Yeah, you'd have to. Because you might have to hit it fairly thin to roll the count. Maybe not. Maybe if you get deep enough where you're just barely one.
I'll tell you what, if you could make the roll dead in behind the center guard, Robyn Silvernagle might have a tough decision to make. Is 1 point here good enough, or do you have to try the run back?
Yeah. I suspect you'd play the run back, but it is a tough choice because the one is very straightforward and the run is not super short.
Yeah, it's a long run.
High guard. Yeah.
Got the hit. Rolls in behind and maybe a little bit past the guard. Far enough in to be shot rock, but I think she's left enough of it that Robyn can go after it directly. Still a delicate shot. She's got to save the shooter. She can't see all of it.
Yeah, kept the roll close enough to the center guard to make this shot have a little bit of a degree of difficulty to it, at least. It's not a complete gimme, and yeah, but I would expect Silvernagle to make this most of the time for 2. Don't want to jinx anyone. I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah,
but.
I'm real careful with it. I've been accused of the announcer's jinx more often than I can count. Final stone here for Robyn Silvernagle in the 5th end, trailing by 3 and a chance to get 2 of those back right here. Needs to hit and stay. Rushers working it to hold the line. Once it was by the guard, they're pretty safe. Makes the hit. Does pick up her deuce. Robyn Silvernagle closes the gap here after 5 ends of play. She trails by 1. It'll be Hannah Phillips with last rock in the 6th.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Gripper first.
Don't forget your brooms.
You got it. Yellow.
Come on up. Okay, well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Sixth end action underway here from the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major. Presented on Curling Stadium Beaumont. All the action, all weekend long. Here from Beaumont, you can catch it on the YouTube channels for either Curling Zone or the Alberta Curling Series. Select games available with commentary. Shawn, Joyce, Ed Scimia, happy to be with you here for this C semifinal, and I think Ed, you're back with me tonight for the qualifying games.
Yeah, we're doing another game together at was it 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Should be a lot of fun. Looking around at the other sheets right now, there, like you said, they're all four of the C qualifier semis are going on. Claire Booth, who we mistakenly thought was on our sheet, she has a 3-1 lead over Selena Sturmey after 4 ends. Kaufman up 4-1 on Sasaki, also in the 5th there. Sasaki with hammer down 3. And Zhang is down 3-1 to Yoshimura heading into the 6th end. And as you said, all those games available on Curling Zone.
We had the drops wrong originally, so that's why we thought it was Claire Booth. I haven't taken it. I haven't looked to see with it in the correct order now to see whether, just because it's Nikki Kaufman in the one game. It's always funny to me when Miss Nikki and Jessie have to play against each other. They are sisters. In fact, I think they're twins.
Oh, wow.
If they're not twins, they sure look alike.
Yeah.
But I just took a glance, and I think they're on opposite sides of the draw, so they don't have to face each other in the elimination game here.
Well, that's nice. Yeah.
Jessie's got her work cut out for her just to get into that game right now. Trailing by 1 as we play here in the 6th. Phillips has last rock as well. This strikes me as an unusual call. With last rock in the 6th end, so many of these teams are conscious of the even versus odd ends. You'd be trying to score here in 6, and you're coming around the center guard. You're just inviting the opportunity for Robyn Silvernagle to force you here.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously a force not the end of the world when you're up 1 with hammer, even in the 6th end, which is really where that worrying about the even end should really start to come into your thinking. But well, anyways, this rock head's quite deep and through
the back. I thought,
but
yeah, corner guard on shot stone.
Yeah. I think you would play for 2 and just play, a little bit soft for your deuce. You're not gonna take too many chances, but you'd think you'd give it an effort, right?
Certainly didn't want to play the end around the center line. That's where Robyn Silvernagle wants to play it.
Right.
And so much so that after that one's through the house entirely, she's got a chance to throw another guard. Now this will be the 5th stone of the end, so the peels can start after this. Nothing out of the brushers. The call here was for a tight center. Comes into the 12-foot. Has a piece behind cover.
Okay, I was getting a little bit. At first, she was looking at, maybe playing to that rock, and I'm thinking up to in the sixth end. I don't love that.
She tapped
but
the ice. Can't believe
Yeah.
that's what she was looking at. She maybe was asking,
Yeah.
we could see enough to hit it. She could peel the guard too,
Maybe.
whatever you like.
Yeah, absolutely. That one in the top 12, you're effectively peeling a guard as well, because that's what that rock's going to be.
True.
It stays there.
Mind you, if you peel a longer guard and they come around that, it's a shorter double. But
Yes.
high guard, hard to do much with it.
Imagine if they peel the high guard, you're throwing another high guard.
Yeah, the high guard by itself isn't worth much though. It's that stone, the 12-foot, without the tighter guard, that long guard doesn't really protect.
Exactly.
much.
Yeah. The long guard only protects your short guard, or in this case, the rock in the top 12.
If you can hang this one on the corner somewhere, sit 2. I don't know. Does Robyn Silvernagle still throw another guard? How many biters is she prepared to ignore? Makes the hit. The shooter will come across, touches her own stone, and hangs them both in the 12-foot there.
It is a good question of how much risk Silvernagle is willing to take here. Down 1, but you're in the game as long as you don't give up more than 1 here. Even if you give up a blank, you're very much in the game still. So I think again, kind of a in between level of risk tolerance here. You're going to hit. Maybe you get a roll back to the middle. Maybe you're happy with that, but you're not counting on it.
You got to hit it first. Catches it just enough to jam it onto the other stone, and the shooter rolls out of play.
Yeah, really caught that thin.
Okay, that makes no sense. You played a defensive shot earlier in the end. You've got to peel the guard here.
Yeah. So you've been playing this end in a way that, for consistency's sake, and just for the way
you're certainly never splitting the house, because then you can never peel that guard. If you're bringing another one in, it can't go over there.
Throw the other side of the house is what I've heard called the junior deuce. So there's a center guard, and we're just going to split the house, and hopefully you never bury anything, and we'll just and you chase our rocks, and we double.
Split the house, you know you're never going to get a chance to peel the center after that anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have to admit, this surprises me a little bit too. If you know the other team's willing to peel a center guard, why don't you just throw another one?
Yeah, I mean, you can't do it forever, but you're early enough in the end.
You're still
at some point you throw it, and they
yep.
Exactly. Yeah. Give yourselves a couple chances to get a nose, and now you suddenly have a
now you're conceding a blank.
Right. Yeah, I would not concede it yet. Exactly. Give it a couple chances for something to happen. Where they nose something, or even nearly nose something, and leave a guard for you to use. Playing it this way, as you said, just means it's a blank 100% of the time, or very close to it.
Of course, we say that, and then I'll mention the announcer's jinx again. This is where you did nose hit that last one. Yeah.
Why I threw very close to it in there, because I made this point last week doing the game, because we had an end set up. Threw in the house, hits back and forth. We're 4 rocks in. Dave makes the joke of, we got to find something to talk about for about 5 minutes, and by the end of the end, there's like 5 rocks in play, and I said, look, it's not as easy as it looks to blank it. Even at a high level of play, it's not as automatic as people think it is. People tend to overestimate both how automatic they are and what percentage of ends are blanked. In this case, though, I think we're far enough towards the end of the end where we're likely to see a blank here.
And no less likely after that draw comes through the house.
I do like you play a very tight guard. See what happens. Now with absolutely no risk, there was nothing else to do. Like this is we were saying you could do this earlier, and they're gonna presumably peel your guard at least once or twice. Now you don't even have to worry about the rock in the corner. So,
well, but if you were content to blank, and you were when you hit, then I question throwing the guard.
Yeah.
Because even prior to the free guard zone, if a team with last rock was going to make an offensive move, they would want to do it on third's last stone. Well, here it is. It's third's last stone, and you've given them the choice. Now, slid into the 12-foot, so she's going to hit it for sure, I would think.
Yeah.
But you hate to...
If you're going to throw that, I think this is where it has to be. But yeah, you're not wrong at all. You're giving them options. You're certainly allowing them to
if they wanted
play for two if they want
to try to score their two, this would be the time to do it, right? But, for a little curl, hoping to hold their shooter in the edge of the 12-foot somewhere and make Robyn make a play on it, but it will roll through the house and out of play. This is a sneaky call now. She didn't tap the ice, so we don't know whether she's playing into the rings or throwing a guard.
I assume it's in the rings at this point, but you could still play very aggressively and hope you can maybe get your force or steal here. If they, you still need a miss, and I still expect this late in the game, I think Phillips would probably choose to peel and blank, and even if they score in 7, they feel very good, being up a minimum of 2, so.
Jesse's tapping the ice like they're playing a guard all the way.
Okay.
Christy and Jesse are walking alongside it like it doesn't matter what we're playing, this is coming in.
Yeah.
I think that was what you'd call a safe throw, where she was thinking, because Jesse tapped out front, she was thinking guard, but she certainly didn't want to leave it long enough that you'd tempt.
Yeah, you wouldn't want
her deuce. Halfway guard, she'd probably try to throw her draw where this one ended up, and maybe get a cheap deuce.
Yeah.
So she'll look to hit here, probably try to roll a little bit broomside, but she'd like to keep her shooter in the ring, force Robyn Silvernagle to throw at it. You hate to give your opposition too many chances to find draw weight. Cleaning it out of her hand. Now they pick it up a little bit more aggressively. She'll actually cross the face a little bit, rolls to the other side of the 8-foot. Phillips sitting 1, 2 stones left to come, and if we can exchange stones, it'll be an opportunity for the blank anyway. I'm not sure how I feel about the red button. Sometimes it looks like they're sitting 2.
It is a little confusing. I get the idea. We have our T-Rex there, like eating a curling stone. It's kind of, but, yeah.
Robyn with the hit, rolls just a few inches to the outside. Sits one, and now Hannah Phillips will have the opportunity for the blank. Playing it from the outside. She doesn't have to roll very far, but I have seen it, and it's been a while, so I can't remember the stats, but I know that anytime you have to put the broom outside the edge of the 8-foot, the percentages drop significantly.
Yeah,
and you only need a bit of a miscue here, and it could be a nose hit.
Yeah, true at every level, I think, and people maybe assume it's not at the high, but you definitely see more misses out there, even at the elite level, comparatively to what they make.
You do,
down the middle of the sheet.
And I contend it's just my personal opinion on it, but I think it's the design of the hacks, like those Marco hacks. Mm-hmm. If they were concave a little bit, you'd have an easier time getting to the corner, but they're straight towards the middle, so anytime you have to go wide, it's not quite as easy. She's going to make the hit and does roll away. In the old hacks that were dug out, you just put your foot in the corner of the hack. You can't do that anymore. We've got a blank here in 6. Phillips with a 5-4 lead after 6 ends of play, and she will continue to have last rock in the 7th.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Seventh end just underway. We've got the long center guard to start the end, and it is on the center line. Hannah Phillips just wondering about where do they play the second one. They're going to try to come around the center by the looks of it. That is a ton of ice.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of curl, but I don't know if it's maybe it is. I mean, they know better than me for sure. They've been out there. I have not. Yeah,
I think part of the issue here is she might have wanted to go to the corner. You saw her kind of shrug the shoulders at first, but with that high center guard and a no tick zone in play to draw to the corner on either side, and we've seen it. If you're trying to draw to the edge of the 8-foot, you're still splitting the center line. When you cross the hog line, you could touch that guard, and they can't do that. Comes around the center, actually out into the open. Full 4-foot. Regardless, Christy Moore being asked to throw the second center. Now, I've got my own answer to this question in mind, Ed, but I'm going to put you on the spot. How aggressively does Robyn Silvernagle have to play here? Like a blank end, you lose this game a fairly high percentage of the time.
Yes. Yeah, I think that drives you to playing on the aggressive side just because of that. It's not so much that you are playing aggressively because you must score, but you must avoid a blank.
Yeah,
you can give up one. One's not. None of these situations are going to be great for you. You steal, you give up one. You're also, not likely to win. But any other result is very, very bad for you. Like you're
agreed with a caveat. If you steal one here, it's tied up coming home. And yes, the team with last rock still has the advantage in that situation. But with the 5 rock free guard zone and the no tick zone, it is as close to 50-50 as it's ever been.
It's certainly got closer, for sure.
Yeah. I think if you're Silvernagle, you're happy if somebody scores one this end. Either way.
Yes.
Because the other side of it is, with Last Rock, we've seen threes happen. I mean, it happens a lot. It happens at Nationals. It happens at Worlds. It's tough to defend. With the 5 rock 3 guard zone, you almost know they're going to have a shot for 2, and it's only one slight miscue, and it's a chance for 3. It's really hard to defend that.
Yeah, agreed on both points, I think. And I think that, as we said, to bring it back to the question, it's just that's why you have to play aggressively. It's not, you don't have to go all out for a steal, but you have to avoid a blank. Blank, you are in, you're obviously going to steal twice.
Yeah. So the other side of that coin then, and this is something that I've told teams that I've worked with a little bit in the past, and it's something that I think they always have to remember. If you know the opposition is going to try to force you to 1 here, the way I like to phrase it, because I'm a bit of a smart aleck, is you have to be open to them forcing you to score 3. Because it will happen. Yes, if you start playing real aggressive, like you got to ignore some
your
rocks,
eyes open
right?
for your opportunities.
So things get.
One of 2 things will happen. Either you will threaten it when you start to threaten that bigger end. You're either going to force them to take extreme risks, or you're going to force them out of their game plan, and you won't have to worry about the steal at all, and you may even get back to a position where you have the blanks back in play. They're going to have to, one way or the other, you're going to be putting a lot of pressure on the team without hammer here if you put a couple of rocks in play and have a chance to score multiple.
Well, that draw slides back and all the way out of play. That's nowhere in the playbook.
Yeah, no.
I just shrugging the shoulders again, thinking about the come around. This is where I'd be looking at peeling.
Yeah, if you ever, it's not easy to get them both and remove your shooter, because the second yellow looks like it might head towards you right in the house. But if you ever could get rid of both, even in 2 shots or in 1 shot, you're not giving up a steal, and unless the Silvernagles will play real aggressively if they want to force or
that rock in the house.
Yeah,
that rock in the house is not real good for you anyway, because it's
right.
It's available through the port with weight, and all of these girls can throw the weight to make that shot through the port. So that rock is just something that Robyn can come off of to get shot rock later. And if you were going to draw, it couldn't be deep.
With hammer, if it was going to be deep, at least it's that deep. But still, that doesn't help you. I mean, unless you get to the situation at the end of the end where it's an extra point. But other than that, it's doing nothing.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a hard time getting back to a blank now. But
yes, yeah, that's
first team to get one in the 4-foot in front of the tee line is going to be in pretty good shape here.
Mm-hmm. This looks like it's headed onto the guards, though.
Struggling to find the weight. I'm not sure she would have had enough weight to get to the 4-foot. Staggers the guards now. And closes the port. You can't get at that red stone.
Yep, and now the come around makes a whole lot of sense, because, as you said before, you can have them force you to 3 here if you can set up an end where you're sitting a couple that are hard to get at. And also, as you said, just the setup of this end is now who gets to the top of the 4-foot first.
Yeah, really it is, isn't it? And I still think Robyn Silvernagle's kind of scoreboard committed here. She can't really try to bail out of this end. Chip off of it now. She'll touch it. Brings the shooter into the top 12-foot. Behind cover.
Nicely placed. Makes these runs a little tougher to get at that rock on the 4-foot too.
moving that corner guard over. Robyn would have the option if she wanted to take it on to just try to come around everything to the back of the four or the in turn. Going to over curl that run attempt. It drives it by everything.
Phillips now maybe a little
Yeah.
spoiled for choice on what she wants to do here.
What do we want to do?
Anything I want.
We don't want we don't want any more rocks in play.
Right.
You bring another one around the middle, it's just one more rock she could jam into when she's playing one of those slashes. Could hit that guard, but it's tough to straight peel it out. I guess you could go towards the center line. Have your shooter go towards the center line.
Removing it just so it's not there to run. And,
Yeah, but then she's probably playing the corner freeze onto shot stone. Like right now, I don't
Right.
think she can get there with a draw on the out turn. Pick your poison. Do you want her playing the corner freeze or do you want her playing that run back again? Run back's got to be harder than the corner freeze.
Yeah, it looks like they're looking at playing this little cute, just try to remove it, but leave a guard to take away the corner freeze.
Yeah, I don't like that because you're not taking the corner freeze away. We've seen how much curl there is. If you roll to just plug that hole, she comes around yours. And I think this is one of the teams with a coach, and I think the coach was probably doing jumping jacks on the other side of the glass. So they may have called a timeout here.
So obviously no time clocks here, but they do have a designated timeout.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're going to peel that guard, I think you're trying to peel it and roll all the way across out of play on the other side. The problem then is it leaves the corner freeze on the out turn to shot rock.
Yeah.
If you're worried about the run back, and I mean, it's an angle run, I still think you're leaving her that over the corner freeze. You could attempt that draw to the middle again, and if you just touch the stone in the top 12 foot, just move it probably, 5 or 6 inches, it's probably in the way of the angle run in. As long as she can't nut anything behind cover, you're okay. Now, the scary part of that is they didn't get anywhere close to the line they were looking for on the last one.
Right. Yeah, I don't even think you have to be that worried about the corner, that corner run back. It's tough to, especially with that other rock in the top 8, it's tough to make it and stick it. It's likely to come out into the open again anyway.
I'm trying to draw lines on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
where's my telestrator? Darn it. I think it's probably there to just dead nut it, which is what I'm suggesting. If you could tap that rock on the 12 foot about 5 inches, it cuts it off, right?
Yeah,
and it's still just a draw. It's just still draw down to your own stone and move it a couple of inches. I don't think they want to peel the corner guard and roll towards center. That's just helping Robyn Silvernagle. I mean, she's still got to make a tough shot, but
yeah.
No,
getting the overhead back here, I'm inclined to agree with you because
I'm drawing the line with a ruler. It looks like it's just there. And you wouldn't have to move that stone the 12 foot very far. She could still make contact with shot rock, but if she's got to roll out into the open, that doesn't help her. Looks like they're playing the draw again. I still think this looks like a lot of ice. Now, maybe they throw a little softer handle than the Silvernagle team. You certainly wouldn't see Robyn's team out this wide with the broom.
Right.
Sounds like my Irish setter doesn't like the call.
Finn does not approve.
This is a guard. Oh, I hate this call.
Yeah, don't love that because if she ever makes,
she's
that,
coming around. Yeah,
away. Yeah,
well, she's coming around it.
Yeah, like especially if it's
they're actually fortunate that they overcurled what they had in mind. Well, then they rub and come back. There's room to get to the back forefoot now, and you can't see it.
And there's not. That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
You just threw a center guard with last rock. That's after a timeout.
Almost nothing. Yeah.
I don't know how you call a timeout and throw a center guard with last rock.
Yeah, I was gonna say you throw it in the rings, even if it's not exactly where you want it to be. What are you afraid of? You're not afraid of giving up a double. It doesn't matter if you leave a double, as long as they're not counting at the end of it, and you're only going to make your position better. I don't see how it ever really, barring an awful miss, makes your situation any worse. I am surprised too. They would opt to even think about leaving something up there.
Yeah. Robyn didn't have a good shot option until you played that.
Yeah.
Gonna have to go to get this by, not just the guard, the stones at the top of the 8-foot. Gonna be the bigger issue. Come and nestle down beside shot rock, and actually, I think she spun in far enough to have shot, and it's slightly overburied on the guard that you just threw and shot.
Yeah, that you threw up for her. Yeah, I was prepared to say, well, if she corner freezes, I mean, you're making it tough to get to. You might get your force that way, but yeah, even better. Yeah, just got that last spin for another extra inch or so, and may well be counting. It's hard for us to tell. We've talked about our feed, although it looks pretty good right now.
Yeah. I have to think part of this discussion is, why did we throw that guard?
Yeah, like what? Can't even be used. It can't even do. Even if you wanted to run it, you can't even do that with it.
You could run it over the top of the stone in the 12-foot and try to angle
you
it
could,
back.
Yes. You could try to angle that one back.
You didn't have to play anything that hard if you didn't throw the guard.
Right.
Like, she's not playing that draw if you don't throw the guard.
Right. There's nothing there. There's nothing there on that side if you don't provide it for them. You might leave her in a position maybe on her last rock. She tries to come around everything like we talked about earlier, but that's a much harder shot.
You got to rip something
and
here.
She's not throwing, so yeah.
You
might throw into that shot that you were saying, like the double, peel, because
it's an option, yeah.
Something, and yeah.
The problem with that, the problem with the call, the only problem with it I see is if you're a little thin on the first one, you don't touch anything else, and it's just one guard, and you don't have a shot for your last one. Is there a way to get a couple of guards moving? Like, she could hit the yellow guard.
You could do that. You could move.
Take two. The problem is, what angle does it come back into the house at? It might be okay. Like, you could play the double peel, the two guards that are beside each other, yellow onto the red, and it's coming close to straight back. And if it touches that red in the 12-foot and moves it into the crotch of those other two, I don't see anything bad happening out of that one.
No, I think
it might work out very well, actually.
The yellow comes a little bit, doesn't come quite straight back.
Yeah.
It depends where you hit it. Like, you might be able to even just completely open up the center, and it leaves you with a lot of options on your last draw. So.
Yeah, exactly. You could play a double peel off the high guard, too. Either way. Could almost make the triple peel. Yellow guard over the top of the yellow that's biting the center line. You might be able to move all three guards and get your shooter out of the way. That might be what they're looking at. Nope, she's looking at the shot we were talking about first. Clip the side of the yellow guard into the side of the red, and that yellow comes back. It very well could put the red and the 12-foot onto the stone that Robyn just threw.
Yeah.
I have a hard time seeing how you could hurt yourself with this one.
No, that looks like the play. I mean, yeah, that, as you said, you can use the high guard too if you want. The risk there is that you don't make it, and
you don't make contact. Yeah.
Yeah. that high guard alone also is not. If you do get rid of these two, it's guarding nothing.
Yeah.
The way the ice is. Yeah.
Got to think with where that broom is. She's going to be throwing some weight at this too.
Mm-hmm.
Which will help if she gets the right angle to get some action as this Yellowstone's coming back. I mean, if she's going to move the shot stone, that by the time she gets there, that's the fourth stone she's got to move. It's close. Oh, it does come back towards it. Oh, actually slashes it over the top of that one. You wouldn't have thought it could go that far back. Does leave the red in the rings. So Phillips sits second, third, and fourth. Just the long guard. Silvernagle thinking about just freezing in the pocket because it's pretty hard to protect that with one stone.
Yeah, and the freezing in the pocket likely, pretty much does get you what you wanted out of this end in the first place. You get your
single
or your steal.
The other shot, and they didn't talk about it. You could play the out turn, try to kill the red. Quiet wait, you'd want to get to the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be what the front end is seeing.
Yeah.
You kill the red and sit two.
First.
But you have to get the roll behind. Now, it's there.
Yes.
It's certainly there.
Yeah, you have to roll back. Because the only other acceptable miss is so far it would be rolling far away, and that's not what you're anywhere.
And then
you're throwing this rock.
You're going to poke yours out from behind the guard too if you do that.
You're giving up one for sure, and then maybe, that would be again the only other thing that you could even be acceptable in that shot. So to make that, you do have to make it good. You got to get the roll the right way.
This is the benefit to a team that's got four players that could skip because it was the front end that saw it. If you're sitting two when Hannah comes up to throw her last one, it changes the amount of pressure too.
Absolutely.
Looks like she's gone back to the original call though. Robyn Silvernagle with her final stone. We think sitting one, looking to draw to the pocket of the yellow and the red at the top of the 4 foot. If she can make this, it's pretty certain it's going to be 1 point on the board one way or the other. I don't see a deuce coming. Definitely don't see a blank coming. Taps her own stone up just a little bit. So that's enough to be sure now it's yellow sitting one.
Yeah, and thankfully, maybe a little more than she was looking for, but not so much that you left any real opportunity for a deuce here. If your reel rolls over a little more,
I
you
would
could be in some
not
trouble.
be at all surprised to see her throw this away. Boy, that's risky. She can see half of the shot stone.
Yeah.
You could try to pick it. Here's the problem. If you curl and catch the yellow stone at the top of the 8 foot, it's a deuce.
Yeah. Like if this is the last end you needed your deuce here, you can throw something to get two here. It's just that it's, as you said, extremely risky.
Yeah. I think if you're throwing a hit at all, you're just trying to pick it out, but even at that.
Yes.
You probably can't hurt yourself playing this draw. I don't know if it's there. I don't think it's there. By the time you're by the corner guard, I don't think you're getting by the yellow.
I think you're on the rocks. Yeah.
Well, she's looking at tapping the red, I think, but I don't think it's there.
Maybe. I guess you could even tap the yellow into the red. Hope you get full
maybe.
4 foot. Yeah. The angle is. Oh yeah, especially if you hit the left side of the yellow, you're going to drag it back towards the.
A little bit.
Push it out with 4 foot. Just enough. I mean, it doesn't. Even the natural movement might keep you in the 4 foot and score one.
Coming from this direction, there's no way to, even if you just come onto the yellow and tap it on the angle, there's no way to get it in far enough to be second shot.
Exactly.
If you tapped it into the other yellow, red is still second. So.
Right.
So you can't hurt yourself this way. I'm just... I don't know if they're sold on the weight.
Yeah, you certainly can't throw too much weight, but if you don't throw enough,
No,
it's
but
tough
if you
to
don't
get
throw the
there.
weight, it's hard to make that port.
Yeah.
Back to looking at just picking it out. If you're going to try to pick it out, you should be fairly safe if you throw weight at it, because the Yellowstone at the top of the 8-foot is dead buried. If you throw weight at this, there shouldn't be a way to clip that one on the top of the 8. You're never holding the shooter, but she's content to take one here, I think, at this point. And with the weight you're throwing here, you're never hitting the rock at the top of the 8-foot. If you're on the line to hit it, you're probably crashing the guard. So,
Right. Yeah, I don't think you're getting with this kind of weight. Because you'd have to curl a good 3 inches past the guard. That's not happening.
No, not with this weight. It takes some of the risk out of it. So Hannah Phillips with a 1-point lead as we play here in the 7th. She's got last rock, looking to pick out shot rock for the single. By the front one.
It's good.
Makes contact, makes it go away. Phillips will pick up 1 here in the 7th. She takes a 6-4 lead over Robyn Silvernagle. Silvernagle will have last rock coming home.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Shawn, Joyce, Ed Scimia here with you. 8th end action in the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major. Setting up to be an exciting finish here. Robyn Silvernagle trailing by 2, but she's got last rock as we begin play in the 8th. Hannah Phillips calling for the first stone into the rings. Sasha Tran putting it in the top 8-foot. We can probably call the first 5 shots now and then just come back for the 6th. We're going to see 2 corner guards. We're going to see another one come to the middle.
And likely a guard on the 2 at the end of that, although could be a 3rd one in the house. That's the drama for everyone. Waiting for the 5th.
That's the closest you get to drama. It'll definitely be a 3rd rock in the middle. Well, slide this one into the rings and that changes everything. Nope, they're good. Well, if you just bite the 12-foot on this one, for sure the 3rd one's going to be a guard.
Yeah.
I think you'd like to be in a little further than that.
I think you sometimes see that if you're, up one, sometimes you'll see them throw the guard right away here because you don't want to give them the opportunity to hit your rock or roll behind the corner and suddenly be threatening two right away. But no worries about giving up a deuce here or having them play anything silly like that. So.
With the brushers, bring it into the 12-foot. Robyn Silvernagle this time going to play the two corners on opposite sides. Well, she thought about it. I think the call from the other end is let's play them on the same side. They've done it this way a couple of times. Nothing wrong with doing it this way. This is the more traditional way to play your two corner guards, where you split the house, and the trick of this is always to get them fairly close to even if you can. This is not going to be even.
Yeah. Not even. Didn't leave a double, an easy double, right? But
well,
it's a little higher
there,
than what you want for being useful, and it does still leave a potential double. Yeah.
Hard for that guard to be useful at all, though. It's by itself. It's so high.
That's going to stay there unless there's nothing better to do later in the end for Phillips. They'll concentrate on picking off that much more useful corner guard near the house.
Anna Monroe now looking to draw towards the middle, and wouldn't mind a tight guard here. Again, the miss has to be in, especially when this does not have the line. It's the second one in this game. They've gotten a little redirect off the corner guard to get back to the middle.
A little bit of a fortunate redirect there, yeah.
Back line to Hack right on the nose. You put two reds behind the tee line.
Yeah, you want to leave the rocks in play here. That's something if you're a newer curler, don't think a lot about the strategy here. You don't need to get rid of these red rocks, and you don't want to, but you do need to move them around a bit at some point, and no better time than now. You may not get another good a chance as good at this again.
Yeah, I don't love the off. She's calling for the hit and roll. The problem is you leave two rocks in front of the tee line to do that.
Yeah.
I think you need to hit it on the nose. Don't love that. She's just looking at a freeze, but everything's angled, so you just freeze and she can blast.
Yep.
Talked about the draw around the corner. That might be okay.
Yeah, I think that's more reasonable than the little hit and roll here. I would rather go
probably
straight if you're going to go in.
Yeah, the problem I see with the draw around the corner, you can still play it, but then how do you eventually deal with these reds? Because the doubles, both of them are going in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, every time you hit a red rock here, as you're saying, the rocks are heading in that direction. Double or even getting rid of one, if you don't make the double here, you're still going over the top of something right towards where you put your rocks.
Yeah. And by playing this shot now, you don't actually have to try to kill these.
Mm-hmm.
But this looks like not a lot of ice. Yeah, it just wasn't enough ice for the shot. She threw kind of the weight that I was thinking, but that didn't look like a lot of ice for what they were playing. Ends up in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, definitely a useful rock.
Well,
take an extra rock to get rid of those reds now too.
She doesn't have to get rid of both of them. If Phillips plays
No,
to move this yellow, you can nose hit the red and stay frozen on it.
Yes, yeah. Oh, of course, yeah. You don't need to get rid of both at any point until the end of the end. But
so you ended up with a fairly good leave, even though you didn't get 2 rocks behind the tee line. This is actually probably the safest way to go after the stone in the top 12 foot too. They're going to come off the corner guard, see if they can get the double that way.
Coming over it, but even getting rid of the corner is fine. And as you said, play this now, but you got to leave the yellow you're running back locked to that red.
Yeah,
you may not play it yet. You might just.
I don't even know that you have to play it yet.
Yeah.
You could throw a tight corner around the long corner.
Mm-hmm.
You could come right around the 3 stones on the center line too.
Also there. Yeah.
It's hard to make this and not leave her that same kind of shot at a double where she comes off. When your shooter rolls over to the side, she can come off it onto the frozen stone. I'm not sold on this shot. You could leave it, let her pick that yellow out, and then you could hit it on the nose on the next one.
Yeah, if your goal was ultimately to get 2, you could play it like this way with more weight, and that doesn't work.
That works great. That actually works.
Ended up being great. I thought she was losing one of the rocks at first, and no,
way better than what they called.
Yeah,
there's no double there, and those 2 reds are still frozen in the middle, which means she can hit it on the nose anytime and stay frozen in the middle. That actually worked better than disturbing it.
Yeah, that's great. I really thought the rock on the left side of our screen was leaving the house, and I was thinking, oh boy, but no, if you leave them both in there, that's great. You're always going to have threats in this end if you have those 2 rocks now, because you're never getting rid of both of them.
Nope. You're not rolling, you're nose hitting this.
Yeah.
The red stone in the middle won't leave, so you can't really whip this either. It's coming towards that yellow on the side, too.
I was thinking the exact same thing. You can't throw really up weight because you're likely to jam that red on your yellow if you do that. So you're throwing a much more controlled weight. Make sure you lose the 3rd red. Push that other red open off the center line.
Open or have it roll, because it's going to be close to the tee line by the time it stops. If it rolls kind of in behind the corner guard, that's almost another rock that you could use.
Yeah. Get as many resources as you can out of these rocks as you move them around. Don't just good lesson for anyone. Like, just don't just say, well, we need the rocks to go. Like, where can you put them to give yourself more resources you can use later in the end?
This is a good chance to get the play away from the center line too. The 2 that are left on the center line after you make this will go anytime, but you can't stay.
Right.
This has got to get close to the nose though. Starting to curl now. Oh, she's close.
Right on there. Basically
really good.
We talked about. Yep.
Yep. The only one that she can really make a good play on is 4th shot rock. do you really want to hit 4th?
And
you might have to.
Maybe you do because you're up 2, but
because you can't afford to give up 3, right?
Yeah.
You hit that one, she's drawing to the one at the edge of the 8
to the red that's there.
Yeah. Behind cover. You almost need to try to curl after it passes the guard, get the inside roll, and take away that breeze. Good end here. Exciting way to end this game. Just some interesting angles setting up. Now stop. Stop sweeping and let it curl. You didn't want to do that.
Yeah, those rocks are doing nothing to help you at all. They're hurting you, in fact. And they'll play exactly what we said. They're going to go right to that red. Have a second rock locked onto a red rock. If they make it good.
You make this one, and 3 is definitely a play here.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No, you got to do this first.
Yeah. Lock this one in first, and then let Hannah Phillips make a shot for you.
Yeah, I mean, make them jiggle the center ones around if they want to release their red, or just hit and unlock your yellow. Either way,
This might be where the conversation is coming from. They're looking at, do they need to move that to get? And again, I don't think you do. I don't think it matters yet.
No.
Red is sitting 2 right now, and so they're talking about moving this a couple inches. I don't think you want to do that either. Just freeze it. There's going to be some hits played yet this end. Jessie Hunkin has struggled with her draw weight this entire game. They're sweeping this to try to make it curl because it is heavy again.
Oh,
that's hack weight.
Well, now without the other yellow in play, you could just hit
that on the nose.
Release, and just like release to make it so the yellow can go next time, and you're never giving up 3.
You make that draw that you just talked about. She's playing the same freeze again.
Yeah.
Feel the corner guard. The freeze would have to be a lot more precise, but she could still play it. I don't mind this.
Nothing wrong with this. I really like just releasing the yellow on the top 12, though, so I can hit it next time.
Yeah, because if she makes the freeze any good, I don't know how you... I don't see that you blast either one of them. Right. Because the yellow doesn't go out the side. That red's a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
So makes the peel on the corner.
Yeah, if you make the dead freeze here, I guess now that you've removed the corner guard, it is tough to give up 3 here, because even a dead freeze now, there's still 2 reds they have to somehow try to get rid of, and it's not impossible, but red could just throw another rock in play, and you're
yeah, but I think if you could
you're out of
convince
options.
If you could convince Hannah Phillips to throw a draw on her next one, you might be okay with
Yeah,
that.
that's true. Yeah, yes, absolutely. You're at a position you'd be happy to have been in at the start of the end for sure.
They're going to play the hit, make sure they're sitting second and third, and if they're doing that, they should have a chance to score 2. Although it'll be the same thing. Hannah will have a chance to, if she can hit and roll the full 8-foot. How do you make the double on the 2 reds?
Yep.
And stay. She's got to hold the shooter here.
Gotta keep it.
This was not the way they were looking to roll, but it might work out for them.
Okay. Does put it in a place where likely you make this hit and you're rolling out and conceding a deuce.
Even if you don't, if you don't roll out, there's going to be a double because there's drag on those top two if you needed to use it.
Absolutely.
But if we don't use the announcer's jinx, then it looks like we're probably headed for an extra end here.
Likely, for sure. Barring I mean, yeah, they're not. I mean, again, now they're talking about it. It's like barring you play it a little more precise and try to like just hit and stay out of the double, and then.
I think she's thinking about the double. The problem with attempting it is it might drag past the nose.
Yeah, you hit it on the wrong spot, and yeah.
Like if you miss the back rock altogether, you can still lose this game.
Lose the game almost, yeah.
It's hard to hit that yellow stone at the top of the 12-foot hard enough to completely kill it. Like if she's trying to hit a quarter or a half or whatever and try to lose it. It's really hard to lose it. And if the drag isn't right, like I'm not entirely sure that you couldn't hit this on the right-hand side as we look at the overhead and drive it actually past the yellow in the rings right over the top. You could miss it altogether.
If you
and then you lose. Like you'd need to hit close.
Because you want to hit a little bit. You want a little drag and don't want.
Yeah.
But you can't get too much. Yeah, there's so much distance between the rocks. You absolutely could probably put it right over the top if you.
And if you're leaving the top yellow in the rings, it's still a shot for 2 anyway. So is that really worth the risk?
Right. Whereas here, and I think they did say we're going to play at a little less weight. You hit, and if you roll a few inches back to the left, you may leave them with almost nothing. I mean, you still have the drag, but
she's always got the drag double. So yeah.
If you make it where you have to hit less of the rock, that makes it tricky. Yeah.
I don't think you want to be too cute with this. If you touch those stones at the top of the 8-foot, you still lose the game. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Roll out, go to an extra end, you're fine.
Yeah, you're playing the rollout if you're playing this down weight because you want to be have the chance to be a little cute. The side you're missing on is to roll out for sure.
Got a piece, but they got to go to get by.
They got to go.
Well, it does stay for second shot, so Robyn's going to have to play the drag double, and now the question is, where do you have to hit it? And I don't think that's where you want to hit it.
No.
She wants drag, but not a lot of drag. I think you're trying to hit 3/4-ish here. I think if you hit what she's looking at, you're jamming the back one.
Yes. 3, yeah, exactly. You're only going to ever make this by hitting, not across the top of the back red. You got to hit just get a little bit of drag, catch a piece of that back one, and keep your shooter. And at that angle, you're going to keep your shooter at almost any weight. Not almost any weight, but any weight they're reasonably going to throw.
Yeah, but she's looking at the big roll as if she needs the red almost for a catcher, which to me means she's thinking she's hitting this. She's thinking she's hitting this thinner than I'm thinking I'm hitting it.
Yeah. It looks like, okay, it does look
you have
like
to defer to the players on the ice a little bit because they can see the angles a little better than us. But
it does look like the natural angle on them is a little bit away from the red in the back, so maybe you do need a little more drag than we think. But it's only barely. It's not.
It also looks like they're just about touching, so you're going to get a lot.
Yes, you're going to get a lot of drag, especially with the rocks they're playing with. I'm sure.
That was a big pop on the release.
Hit enough of it to stay, and they're trying to push it over. And didn't stay.
Yeah, just too thin.
Yeah.
Rolls the shooter away. She'll get 1. That's not enough to push it through to the extra end. Hannah Phillips with a nice hit and stay on her final stone. Holds them to 1. She'll pick up the 6-5 victory here, and that puts Phillips into the C event qualifier at 7 o'clock tonight. You can catch all the action, all the sheets on the Curling Stadium Beaumont YouTube channel for Curling Zone, as well as the Alberta Curling Series. It's the Hack2House Alberta Curling Series Women's Major. On behalf of myself, Shawn, Joyce, Ed Scimia, my partner here this afternoon, we were glad you could join us and be back in about an hour and a half, and we can see who the final 2 playoff teams are in this year's Bonspiel.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.